Good morning, Periscope. How are you? This is Japonica of Japonica Brown Consulting Firm. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for following me at I Am Japonica. Don't forget to follow me on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram at I Am Japonica, and on Twitter at Am Japonica. Somebody took the I, so I had to just do Am Japonica. But I'm blessed and I'm excited for what God is doing today. I have been trying to video you guys for the last hour or so and just couldn't find the right place or the right time to just do it the way I know God wanted me to do it. And surprisingly enough, I cannot do this unless I'm in my car. God talks to me in two places, the shower and the car. And I didn't think the shower was going to be feasible. So I wanted to come to the car and I wanted to hold the phone where you'll be able to hear me. I want to talk to you about being free. So on Saturday at 5 o'clock in Mobile, Alabama, I'll be speaking at a women's conference called The Remedy. It's at the YMCA, the Dearborn campus. And I was in my apartment rehearsing for that. And something happened. Some things started to come up in my spirit about our past. I was reading this book, The Weight, yesterday, and it really struck home with me because the author started talking about triggers and things in the past that God has to unpack, the baggage that he has to unpack before he can bring anybody new in your life. And I remember Juanita Bynum back in the 90s, she said there's a price to pay every time you sleep with someone. And I internalized that as God was going to punish us for sleeping with someone. And I don't really think that's the case, that he does punishing. But there's always a consequence for every action. And every time I slept with someone, I was not only giving away my power, but taking on something from them. Taking on something from them that I did not have before. And now that I'm at the place of waiting, God has to strip all of those layers off of me, not just from the sleeping with someone, but from the past broken heart, the brokenhearted and broken promises from my childhood. You have no idea how much your experiences from your childhood carries onto your adult relationships. And since God is not the author of confusion, he would never bring a person into a situation that'd be toxic for them. He would never purposefully bring you into a situation that is going to be spiritually, emotionally, and mentally harmful to you. So he has to unpack all of those layers from the past off of you. And simultaneously, while unpacking all of those layers, prepare you for your future, heal you, rectify your mind, encourage your spirit, improve your faith, strengthen your resolve. Because marriage is a ministry and you cannot go in this fight as a wimp. You not only got to cover yourself, but you now have to cover another person. You not only have to fight the enemy that's coming after you, but you got to fight the enemy that's coming after a whole nother person that's trying to get to you. So I wanted to rehearse this piece because it's very personal. It's monologues written from my own life, and I'm going to be ministering to the women from my own life. My story was not just for me to hurt over and get over. My story was for me to hurt over, get over, heal over, and inspire people from. So I started with these scarves around my neck. And every time I thought about something God had brought me through, I pulled a scarf off. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to know that he loves me so much that he didn't leave me in the place that I was in. I'm so excited that I can now see myself with the mirror of the word. Yesterday, I was talking to my friend. I said, girl, it seems like the more I read the word, the prettier I look to myself. I used to be able to see all the imperfections, every spot, blemish, dark circle, stretch mark, fat roll. It used to torment me in my mind. I'm going to be honest with you. It was to the point where I couldn't even wrap my hands around myself and feel the fat rolls on the side because I would be disgusted by my own reflection. And now I can see myself and see the beautiful part of me because I'm looking at myself through the lens of the Lord. I'm looking at myself the way God sees me, perfect, whole, and complete, made in his own image. And every single time I thought about something God had taken me through or delivered me from, I pulled a scarf off. And every single time, it felt like something was leaving me. The reason you're in the waiting process right now, the reason why you haven't met the man in your life right now is because God is pulling some things from you. But be encouraged and get excited that your daddy loves you so much that he'd rather pull those things off of you than allow you to go into the same situation, the same person, and come out the same way. I just want to do some things differently this time. I'm excited that God loves me enough to put me back on the potter's wheel and say, that's not quite ready yet, because I want her to be just right. And he's smoothing out those edges. He's coming around the rim. He's making it just right. So when they see me, they see the master's perfection. That's what you want to be. Be the person you want to date. Be the person you want to marry. How do I do that? Listen, you got to let go of your past. You got to let go of your mistakes and stop allowing the enemy to choke you around your neck with the things that you have done. You did it and it's over. God has forgiven you and thrown it into the sea of forgetfulness. Stop being a prisoner of your own past, and you're wrapping the noose around your neck, the noose of repetitive thoughts and shame and condemnation. So you did it. It's over. Now move forward. Move forward. Let me tell you what God does in this waiting process when he's pulling some things from you. He's giving you your body back. He's giving you back. Every person I gave myself to, I was giving me away. And it is okay, because that's the way it's supposed to be in a marriage. You give some of you away and he's giving you back what you gave to him. It's this ebb and flow situation, that yin and yang energy. The problem is when we yoke up with someone who is not our divine partner, is not our destined helpmate, and we give ourselves away and they give us nothing in return, or they give us something in return that was not for us. And it's toxic. It's toxic. Why is it that we breathe out carbon and dioxide, I think is what monoxide, and the trees breathe out oxygen? Because what we don't need, they need, and what they don't need, we need. It's an ebb and flow. We breathe out and they release things that we need them for the oxygen, and they need us. The problem is when you're in a situation where they need you and they have nothing to feed you back. So you end up empty, girl, desolate, destroyed, brokenhearted, exhausted. When you're operating outside of your calling for the person who you're not supposed to be with, you will work yourself to the bone. And let me tell you, marriage is work. But the great thing about it is where you're working and giving, he's giving it back to you. It's that agreement. When you're operating outside of your call, you're working and you're giving and no one's giving back to you. So you're just giving and giving and giving and praying for God to give you more, when the husband is supposed to give you. He's a man after God's own heart. He follows the Lord. The woman submits unto him just like she was submitting under God in her singleness. So as he's being filled from the Lord, he's coming filling you, and you're going to give it, and you're giving it back to him. When you're dating someone and you're sleeping with someone that's not your husband, you're giving and he ain't following the Lord, so you empty. He just doing his own thing. He's a man after his own mind. He's not following the Lord at all. He's driving a car and don't have a GPS, a map, or nothing. And you sitting in the passenger seat trusting that he's going to take you where you're supposed to go. Girl, you got to let go. You got to let go and forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. I used to think, Lord, they're going to know that I did this and I did that. And God says, it's okay. That's okay. You got to forgive yourself. That's okay. Let that go and allow me to use even this thing for my glory. Allow me to use even the thing that you thought was negative. See, the enemy thought he could kill you with shame. He thought, look, if you take the hedge from around her and let me get to her, let me break her heart a little bit. Let me allow her to get open and then steal her joy. She'll curse you to your face. Just like Job. This is the thing I get excited about. When God and the enemy has a conversation about me. When the devil is walking to and fro and God's saying, what you doing? Oh, I'm looking for somebody to devour. Have you considered my servant Japonica? Because God already knows that even when I'm at my lowest point, he gives me a little grace. My grace is sufficient and I'm still gonna win. See, this is the crazy thing about it. And the devil's so stupid. God already knows the end of the story. That's like playing chess with somebody and the game is rigged. Come on, let's play. God just playing for the simple fact of something to do. Because he knows that he had you and that you are gonna win. Baby, when you look in the mirror, see what God sees. Don't allow the enemy to paint your reflection with the stains of your past. You are not your mistakes. Yes, you slept with him. Yes, you did that. Yes, you smoked. Yes, you was drinking. Yes, you got drunk and passed out at a party and you don't know what happened. It's okay. Because God has forgiven you and he loves you so much. And even when you were in the midst of the action itself, he still loved you and still saw you for the jewel that you are. You're not a whore. You're not a slut. You're not a thought. You're not any of those things. You are a beautiful woman of God. You are his beloved and he loves you. Stop wearing those titles as banners. This is how I know we're in the end of the days, because up is down and down is up. When you wear derogatory terms as a badge of honor, you're none of those things. You know what you are? You are a walking reflection of God's love for mankind. You are a walking reflection for God's love for mankind. He loved man so much that he saw that he needed to create something else to supplement him, to create something else in such fragility and beauty. He wanted to create a woman. All the finesse it took to create you, all the concentration it took to get your lips just right, and the curves of your body, and your sentiment, and your sensibility, and your love, and your passion, and your nurturing spirit just right. And when it was just right and he was just about done, wow, look what we created. We created a woman. How cool is that? You know how much he loves you? If you don't know, find out. How do I find out? I read my word. I read my word, and the more I read it, the more I realize that he really does love me in so many ways. Take off those scarves. When you over accessorize, and that's what it looked like when I put all the scarves on. It started off as a really cute outfit because I was really excited in my flesh, in my worldly past. Started off as a really good relationship, right? Oh my God, he's awesome. And then you start to feel pressure to have to do things and continue to do things in order to keep him. That's why marriage is so cool, because there's a covenant. You're supposed to be yourself, and your unadulterated self is good enough for that partner. Your unadulterated self is a great fit for that partner, so you don't have to continue to perform day in and day out to try to keep somebody intrigued. It's like school teachers. We're constantly trying to figure out what we can do to make class and the lesson more interesting. But the fact is, education is just education. You can't zhuzh it up. You can only do so much. Math is math, and you have to learn those principles. Well, when you meet your man or guy, you are who you are. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent. That's who you are. And you can't continue to put on a show and pony performance so he can accept you. If he hasn't accepted you who you are, then don't commit to that. Don't commit to that. Let go and be free in your mind. Be free in your spirit. Stop wearing your past as scarves around your neck, my sisters, and allow this waiting process for God to just pull off every single layer. Every time your dad broke a promise, every time when you first lost your virginity and that relationship didn't work, your years in college and making mistakes, let that go. Broken promises, let that go. Low self-esteem, let that go. And start seeing yourself in the eyes of the Lord. Your self-esteem has nothing to do with your physical appearance. Not a thing. Has nothing to do with your weight, your body shape, your complexion, your hair length, your eyes. It has nothing to do with that. And everything to do with your perspective of yourself through the eyes of God. And when you look through the eyes of God, everything looks a little bit more beautiful. Because you're looking at it in the creator's eyes. He created it. So of course it looked beautiful. It's like looking at a child through the parents' lenses. Sometimes when I'm talking to parents, I just don't understand why they don't understand why their child is doing certain things. Like, you don't know your kid like I know my kid. You don't know your kid like I know your kid. But what it is I can't see their child through their lenses. From the moment they were born, or from the moment she found out she was pregnant, and the moment she gave birth and touched that baby, there was a bond, there was a love that was so significant, solidified so deeply that no one else can truly understand it but her. Well, that's how God is. You got to look at yourself the way he looks at you, through the lenses of you, because from the moment he created you, there was a bond so perfect that nobody truly can understand it but him. And he tries to give you some indication in his word of how much you mean to him. His word is like the Hallmark card on Valentine's Day. It's trying to communicate to you how much he's in love with you. Read your card. Meditate on your card. Think about it. Talk about it to other people. I want to encourage you guys to let go of your past and don't allow the enemy to hold you prisoner to the things that you've once done. You are not your mistakes. You are not your mistakes. They were a part of you. They were a part of your process. Allow God to use that for your glory, and do not be ashamed of them. Stand strong and say, that's where I was and this is where I am. And no devil in hell is going to make me run and hide in shame. God is a deliverer. If it's anything, it's a testament to how powerful God is. Look where he's brought me from. Look where he's brought me from. And look where I am now. Look where he's going to take me. Taking off a scarf, peeling back those layers. Be free, my sisters. I love you guys. I hope you got something from this Periscope. Again, my name is Japonica Brown of I Am Japonica, Japonica Brown Consulting Firm. Please follow me on Periscope, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I Am Japonica. On Twitter at Am Japonica. I love you. If you're having a conference, a women's workshop, a youth workshop, let me know. Contact me. I'll be happy to serve in any capacity that I can. I'll be praying for you guys as you pray for me. Be blessed. Bye.